Okay, let's finish up this explanation of life insurance. And remember, there are two basic types: term, you rent, and cash insurance, where you own. You have an equity. It's like owning a home. To say one is better than the other is just the talking heads trying to persuade you to buy one over the other. One's not better than the other. They have different functions, they're different tools. So let's take the mystery out of it. If you have a great need for insurance and a low budget, you don't have much, man, term, cheapest it's ever been in history. Go look into it. If you want something to accumulate money and you want to go through the study of knowing if it's a good tool to belong in your portfolio with other assets, it's not a one size fits all. It belongs with other investments. If you look at it like that, and you want something that'll be there forever, because you can own permanent insurance forever, then you use that tool. So is it temporary and we got a limited budget? One tool. We got a bigger budget. We want it as part of our investment portfolio. It's got a lot of great points, and I'll bring those up one time. So take the mystery out of it. Let your budget start dictating the first part, and then the next part is determine: do I want something that's going to be there as long as I care, not when the contract says my 10 years is up. Okay, now let's say we've chosen, we've got it, we own it. What's the best way to own it? Now, doesn't that sound like a silly question? What's the best way to own your life insurance? I'll tell you, have it in an irrevocable life insurance trust. What this does is it separates the ownership from you to the trust. Now, let me tell you how to use this. When you put money in a trust and you no longer own it, you got to have a good trustee, of course, then the predators can't get in there, taxes don't get in there. It becomes a tax-free, creditor-proof, safe haven for money. Now, let me tell you when it really becomes important. Let's say you're a fella now. This goes for the boys and girls together. But let's say you're a fella and you're younger and you've got a pretty wife and you have $1 million of cover, whatever, cash insurance or term, but you die. You leave the $1 million. Chances are, being young, she's going to remarry. And if she owns that $1 million outright, you just left her the $1 million, death benefit, then the new husband's going to be aware of that too. And I know cases where the new spouse went through the money and then decided the marriage wasn't that good and left. So you plan for your family and somebody else ended up with the money. If you have it in a trust and you've chosen a good trustee, the trustee will be responsible for giving out checks to the widow or widower as opposed to that lump sum. It protects the money for the spouse and or the children, whatever it needs to be. And that money literally can be used to create interest, and the surviving spouse spends only the interest, and that principal will pass on for a couple generations. This is a rule against law of perpetuity. I don't know how many years that is, but it's a bunch, maybe 99 years. But that money can stay in a trust a long time, kicking off interest and dividends. So, just a thought. Next time, we'll look into life settlement, and then we'll wrap that up and go to our next subject.